Welcome to the part 5th of Plant Kingdom. As in our previous video, we have trying to understand more about the algae. So I hope each and every point is clear to you. So algae are being classified into three classes: chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae and rhodophyceae. So the common name for chlorophyceae is green algae, and the major pigment present in the chlorophyceae is chlorophyll A and B, and the stored food which is present in the chlorophyceae is starch, and the cell wall is made up of cellulose, and it contains 2 to 8 flagella in it to move for the reproduction. And the habitat for the chlorophyceae is freshwater, marine water, etc. Coming to the phaeophyceae is the second class of algae, commonly known as brown algae, containing a pigment chlorophyll A and C and fucoxanthin. Fucoxanthin and chlorophyll A and C are the pigment which are responsible to give brown color to the phaeophyceae, and the stored food material in phaeophyceae is mannitol or laminarin. Coming to the cell wall is made up of cellulose and algin, and they contain two unequal flagella which are present laterally. So their habitat is fresh water, salt water, brackish water. That's nothing but combination of salt water and fresh water. We call it as brackish water. Now coming to the rhodophyceae, commonly known as red algae, containing a pigment chlorophyll A and D. And along with A and D, it contains phycoerythrin as a pigment which will give red color to the red algae or rhodophyceae. The stored food material in the red algae is fluoridine starch. The cell wall is made up of cellulose, pectin and polysulfate esters. Then coming to the flagella are absent in case of rhodophyceae. They are found in fresh water, they are found in brackish water, they are found in salt water also. So you come to know the difference between each class. I hope so it is clear to you. Let me pass on, and the examples for the chlorophyceae: Chlamydomonas, Volvox, Eulothrix, Pyrogyra and Chara. For the phaeophyceae, the examples are Laminaria, Dictytota, Sargassum and Fucus. Coming to the rhodophyceae, the examples were Porphyra, Gracilaria, Gilidium, Polysiphonia. So this complete about the algae. Let us move on to study about the second subtopic which is present in the plant kingdom is Bryophyta. Write down the side heading, students. Take down the screenshot, or you can note down the points which may not be present in the screen, which I am saying you in the during explanation time. So Bryophyta includes the various mosses, mostly terrestrial. The Bryophyta are present on the terrestrial plant which depend on external water for fertilization and completion of their life cycle. Hence, they are termed as amphibians of plant kingdom. One mark question for the theory point. Bryophyta are termed as amphibians of plant kingdom. Justify the sentence, or why. Why Bryophyta are termed as amphibians of plant kingdom? Because they need external water for fertilization. They grow on terrestrial medium, but they are depend on external water for fertilization and complete their life cycle. So they are termed as amphibians of plant kingdom. I hope it is clear to you. Bryophyta are called amphibians of plant kingdom because these plants can live in soil. Terrestrial means they can grow on soil but are depend on water for sexual reproduction. So they are termed as amphibians of plant kingdom. Coming to the habitat again, they are going to grow on shady and moist place such as moist walls, damp rocks. Damp rocks means where there is a wetty area, where there is a possibility of getting a water. Cool place, cool rocks. Moist soil and on decay in logs. Logs means the broken branches of the trees. Huge branches or the huge trunk of the trees which are fallen down, they are said to be the logs. So they are going to grow. Who? Bryophytes are going to grow on the shady place. They need the shady place, they need moist place, they need damp rocks, and mostly they are going to grow on decaying logs. Now coming to the structure of Bryophyta, they show thalloid plant body which is not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. So you cannot make out that which is leaf and which is root and which is stem. True roots are not found in them. You cannot identify which is true root, stem and leaves. So the body of the plant is thalloid like. It's like thalloid form. In Bryophyta, true roots are absent but rhizoids are present. Again, 1 mark question. What are rhizoids? Now, the answer for this question is rhizoids are unicellular root-like structure present in bryophytes. So, what are rhizoids, my dear students? Rhizoids are root-like structure present in root-like small structure present in bryophyte. They are not true roots. They are not true roots, but they are looking like a root-like, hair-like structure. So the name is being given rhizoids. They are unicellular. They are unicellular in liver rot while multicellular in mosses. Liver rot and mosses are the example of bryophyte. Fine. So rhizoids are present. The bryophyte doesn't contain a true roots, but they contain rhizoids. Special structure present in the bryophyte, we call it as rhizoids. They look like roots, hair-like structure. They are unicellular in case of liver rot and they are multicellular in case of mosses. This you should remember for the point of competitive. What is the function? They absorb water and minerals and also help in fixation of thallus to the substratum. So, what is the function of the rhizoids? The question like what are rhizoids may be differ. 1 mark question. Again, what is the function of rhizoids may appear in theory part. So, rhizoids are minute hair-like structure present in bryophytes. The function of the rhizoid is to absorb water and minerals and also help in fixation of the thallus to the substratum. As I said you, the body of the bryophyte is thalloid. It need a substratum to get attached. So for the attachment on the substratum, the rhizoids will help them. You can have a look. I have given some of the pictures in the screen. Okay, shall I proceed? Let me proceed for the next one. Bryophyta shows this kind of life cycle you can have. It's very important, my dear students. Now let me pass on to the life cycle. The main plant body of bryophyte is haploid. The main plant body of the bryophyte is haploid. It produces gametes, hence it is called gametophyte. The plant body is haploid, but it is going to produce gamete, so hence the term gametophyte is given to them. So bryophytes are termed as gametophyte. The sex organ in bryophytes are multicellular. The male sex organ is called antheridium. The male sex organ which is present in the bryophyte is called antheridium. They produce biflagellate anthrozoid. This is very important. See, compared to the algae, bryophytes are little bit advanced. There you did not come to know which is male and female reproductive structure. You did not come across the word gametophyte. Here, they are going to produce the gamete. Being the plant haploid in nature, they produces a gamete. So, we call it as gametophyte. So, the male gamete, the name has been given antheridium, and it is going to produce anthrozoid. So, these anthrozoids are biflagellate. They contain 2 flagella on them for locomotion. Fine. The female sex organ is called archegonium. It is flask shaped and produce a single egg. So my dear students, have a look on the picture. It is given in your textbook, page number 34, figure number 3.2. All the examples of bryophyte has been given. You can have a look in your textbook also. It is very clear. So bryophyte produces a male sex organ called antheridium, which is biflagellate, and the female sex organ called archegonium, which is going to produce a single flask shaped egg. Please do remember, flask shaped. Archegonium is flasked shape and antherozoid is biflagellate for the point of competitive. The antherozoids are released into the water. Antherozoids means the male reproductive organ. The antherozoids are released into the water where they come in contact with archegonium, the female reproductive organ. An antherozoid fuses with the egg to produce zygote. So here fertilization takes place. Fusion of male and female gamete is going to take place. They produce a zygote. Zygote do not go any reductional division immediately. So after the fusion of male and female gamete, the zygote has to go for division. It will not go immediately in case of bryophytes. Fine. Okay. They produce a multicellular body called sporophyte. See my dear student, it's a very peculiar characteristics which you are going to see it in the bryophytes. That's nothing but first they are going to produce the gametes male and female. When they get fuses, they have to produce the division and then they are going to produce a simple separate plant. But it's not like that. The zygote will not go for the division. It will turn. They produce a multicellular body. We call it as sporophyte. The sporophyte is not free living but attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte and derives nourishment from it. Same cells of the sporophyte undergo reductional division, that is called meiosis, to produce haploid spores. Now did you come to know from why I call bryophytes as a haploid plant? In the beginning itself, as I said you that they are haploid. Okay, the plant body is haploid. Now you come to know, as the fusion of male and female gamete take place, it has to go for division to produce diploid plant. It will not go, it will produce sporophyte. This sporophyte will go for reductional division, that is called meiosis, to produce you haploid spores. These spores germinate to produce gametophyte again. These spores will go, they germinate and they produce gametophyte. In this way, life cycle of bryophyte will continue. Can you see? See, this is the containing male gametophyte plus sign and an arrow mark sign which is going for a fusion of male and female gamete has taken place, and this is going to give you sporophyte. This sporophyte will not develop into, it will go for the meiosis, that is a reductional division containing a spore. These spores will produces gametophyte. That's nothing but a leafy gametophyte and a protonema which develop into a gametophyte. It may be male gametophyte and a female gametophyte which is haploid. One will develop into a antheridium, another will develop into archegonium. Can you see? Then these two fuses and again they form a zygote. A zygote will not go division, it will continue in the form of sporophyte. This is the peculiarity of your bryophytes. Have a look. I hope it is clear to you. Let me give you the difference between bryophytes, difference between gametophyte and sporophyte. What is the main difference between gametophyte and sporophyte? As I said you, bryophytes are haploid body. They are haploid plant body. They produces gametes, hence we call them as gametophyte. These gametophyte in the life cycle, they are going to produce sporophyte also. So you should know the main difference between gametophyte and sporophyte. The main plant body, that's nothing but thallus of a bryophyte, is a haploid. It produces a gamete, hence we call it as gametophyte. This you know. The zygote produces a multicellular body, that is called sporophyte. The zygote, when it go for the fertilization, when fusion of anthrozoid and archegonium, the fusion of sperm and egg has taken place, they form a zygote. That zygote get multiply. It will go, it is a multicellular or body which will go for the division and it forms sporophyte. So the sex organ in bryophyte are multicellular. The sex organ whichever are going to form in the gametophyte of the bryophyte, they are multicellular, the anthrozoid and the archegonium. Now the sporophyte is not free living but attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte and derives the nourishment from it. The male sex organ is called antheridium and produced by flagellate anthrozoids. The female sex organ is called archegonium, that is flask shaped and produce a single egg. Okay. Some cells of the sporophyte undergo reduction division. I call it as meiosis to produce haploid spores. The anthrozoids are released into the water where they come in contact with archegonium and anthrozoids fusses with the egg to produce zygote. These spores, which spores? The haploid spores germinate to produce gametophyte. The gametophyte is the dominant here. The structure called gametophyte is dominant, green, haploid and independent phase. Thus, the sporophyte is diploid, recessive and partially depend on gametophyte. So, my dear students, being sporophyte where division is going to occur, where it is going to produce the diploid gametes, it will be recessive in nature. It will not show its character. The gametophyte is dominant, so we call bryophyte as a gametophyte also because it is dominant, it is haploid and independent phase. It can go for production of sporophyte. So we call it as dominant haploid independent phase. Here the sporophyte we call it as it is diploid but it is recessive. It is not going to show its character clearly. Okay, partially it is going to show. I hope it is clear to you. Very important, my dear students. So I'll wind up the part 5th with this. The difference between gametophyte and sporophyte. Will continue part 6 of plant kingdom with the economic importance of bryophyte. Thank you, students.